this week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Okay, Mitch. Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back to your press? Do you want to say anything else to the press? Okay.
Go ahead, John. My name is Stella. I want to ask, do you support ICE taking working people off the streets and kidnapping them?
What's going on, y'all? So, I had this whole segment planned out that I was going to talk about the epic disaster that was the July 4th celebration in Washington, D.C., where Trump gave this completely unhinged and racist tirade about how, the country has been speaking English for over 1,000 years, and English is the language of freedom. Even though we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the country, not 1,000 years, and, arguably the British Empire, that ruled the world at the point of a sword and the barrel of a gun for over 500 years. Not really a beacon of freedom. You also had these white nationalists, this neo-Nazi group called the Patriot Front, wandering around DC in full mask, and they're carrying Confederate flags. Totally perfect for the celebration of the 250 years of our country's existence. But then I realized, you know what? None of that is breaking news. None of that is, frankly, all that interesting because, it's par for the course. Donald Trump is going to say and do completely unhinged and ridiculous and racist things. The fascists are going to fascist. But the story I actually want to talk about is there's this recent reporting that Mitch McConnell is brain dead. Okay? This is huge. So the source I'm getting this from is actually Occupy Democrats. You can make of that what you will. I know all the MAGA mouth breathers will be like, it's Occupy Democrats, it's fake news, blah, blah, blah. But one of the people that they source from this reporting is actually Laura Loomer, who is a diehard MAGA and, a close ally of Donald Trump. So this is what it says, and then I'll kind of go into the implications of it afterwards. So, breaking. Journalist is now reporting that Mitch McConnell is officially brain dead and will not be coming back to torment us. We need official confirmation ASAP. An hour ago, White House advisor Laura Loomer tweeted out that, quote, a high-level source close to the White House tells me Mitch McConnell is officially brain dead. He's not coming back. This was quote tweeted by the journalist who first published the story of Mitch McConnell's cardiac arrest, Desiree Townsend, who confirmed these reports. Quote, I have heard the same thing from my sources for days. At this point, I am at the hospital for when they eventually decide to cut him off of life support and move his body. His Capitol Police detail is still here as of 3:39 Eastern Time, she wrote on Twitter. The fact that we have had no update on his health for 3 weeks is absolutely outrageous. Mitch McConnell is a U.S. Senator, very important one at that, who's been weakened at Bernieing his job for far too long. The process of replacing him needs to play out. It is believed the Republicans are deliberately concealing his condition in order to prevent a special election from being triggered, one in which notable Trump enemy Thomas Massie could run and split the Republican vote. Few tears will be shed for Mitch McConnell, who blocked Obama's Supreme Court justice seat. That was Merrick Garland. and is personally responsible for the complete lack of any meaningful legislation that would actually help the American people ever passing. He served corporations, the pedo oligarchy, and the Republican Party loyally while screwing over the rest of us every day of his misbegotten life. The American people deserve transparency about their elected leaders. We need to know the truth about what's going on in Kentucky. Okay, so first of all, despite any political affiliation, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, whether whatever, right? That last line is that, like, we have to have transparency, which we know we're not going to get from Trump or the Republicans at this point. But Mitch McConnell is 1 out of 100 senators in the entire country. He is literally one of the most powerful elected officials in this country, and we have no idea what's going on with him. All we know is that he was hospitalized on June 14th. Now, there has been reporting that he was found unconscious at his house, and he had some sort of a cardiac event, and they had to literally perform CPR and then rush him to the hospital, and we have no word from him since. Okay. Now, on the note of him being, like a terrible person, totally agree. Nobody's going to shed a tear for Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is arguably one of the most destructive politicians, definitely in my lifetime, probably in American history. Okay, Mitch McConnell, like they note, is single-handedly responsible for the MAGA majority that sits on the Supreme Court today. He blocked Merrick Garland for 8 or 9 months when Barack Obama was on his way out in 2016. And then he famously fast-tracked Amy Coney Barrett to the bench in less than 1 month from the 2020 election. So this guy has zero fucks to give about hypocrisy. But that MAGA majority Supreme Court has overturned Roe v. Wade. So they've gutted women's rights. They have overturned Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. So they have completely taken us back like 50 or 60 years, going back to Jim Crow era. Like, we're just going to try and cut black people out of congressional districts. Mitch McConnell is responsible for seating literally hundreds and hundreds of judges to the federal judiciary with lifetime appointments, and literally all of these guys are Federalist Society appointments. These people are completely unqualified to sit at the level that they have, that they've attained, and they have a lifetime appointment. And then, as it notes, whenever he wasn't doing that, Mitch McConnell was a loyal servant of the corporations. So if and when he does kick the bucket, I'll be popping, champagne, I'll be cracking a beer or something, because he's an awful person. Now, to the implications of what this is and why they've tried to keep this under wraps. So, they're afraid, as this mentions, that if Mitch McConnell's seat is vacant and there's there's an election to fill that, somebody like Thomas Massie, who just got ousted from his seat in the House of Representatives, may run for that. And a Senate seat is not the same as a congressional district. Now, congressional districts, you can have like a super red MAGA majority where they're going to literally pick the craziest person available, which they have done time and time and time again. The guy who unseated Thomas Massie was talking he was talking about how he farted in church. Like, he wasn't running on anything and he won. It's completely ridiculous. But a Senate seat is different, and Kentucky is not anywhere near as red as people want to believe, because the governor of Kentucky is Andy Beshear, and he's Democrat. So when you don't have congressional districts, like highly partisan congressional districts that the Republicans can draw in order to favor themselves, the vote tends to be not quite as crazy MAGA red. And the Republicans would much, much, much rather leave the seat vacant and lose a vote in the Senate than have it filled by a Republican like Thomas Massie, because Thomas Massie, even though he votes with Trump and all the Republicans over 90% of the time, this guy is nobody's liberal. He wants to end the war in Iran, and he co-sponsored or co-authored the Epstein Files Transparency Act with Ro Khanna. So he wants to release the Epstein Files. He wants to end the war. He wants to release the Epstein Files. Those two things are total non-starters in Trump's Republican Party, because that would completely expose all of them, especially Donald Trump. So the magical date on which they are trying to hold out on letting the public know what's actually going on with Mitch McConnell is apparently August 3rd. And the importance of that date is because there's some rule where it's like, if it's within 90 days of the election, you can't run to fill the seat. So I think, where they're talking about like they're trying to weaken at Bernie's Mitch McConnell, they're literally going to try and pretend like he's alive or that he's conscious or that he has any chance of ever serving in the Senate ever again until August 3rd, at which point they will announce, Mitch McConnell, he's been on life support for a long time. We're not going to be able to save him. He died early this morning on August 4th, but then the seat will be vacant and nobody will be able to fill it. Because like I said, much in the same way that Democrats would rather lose to Republicans than win with progressives and win with Democratic socialists, the Republicans would rather lose a vote in the Senate in Mitch McConnell and leave a seat vacant than win that seat with a Republican like Thomas Massie. So that's the story. I hope they continue pressing on it. I really do. Because, again, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican. The American people deserve to know what's going on with Mitch McConnell, because he is quite literally one of the most powerful politicians in the country. And we have no idea if he's even still alive. But I'll just say from, my personal opinion, not like a medical doctor, somebody who's 84, somebody who has had a history of medical conditions, like Mitch McConnell has been caught on camera just like stroking out and freezing up. Somebody asks him a question, and he goes, and his aides are like, Mitch, would you like to go back to your office? And then they're like, okay, no more questions. And they cart him off. Or like he's fallen down several times. He's been wheelchair bound for the past several months because Mitch McConnell literally keeps falling over. Somebody with that kind of medical history who goes into the hospital for cardiac arrest because he was found unconscious and they had to literally do CPR on him and nobody's heard about him for 3 weeks. He's not coming back. So I expect to be popping champagne pretty soon, but hopefully we'll know before August 3rd. Anyway, guys, if you like this, please be sure to hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Please, please, please hit the like button. The YouTube algorithm is very, very, very nasty, to use a Trump term. Very nasty to left-wing, independent, channels, politics, anything like that. Hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed. YouTube has been way bad on the suppression lately, where I know they're not even pushing out the videos to my own subscribers. So it's a huge solid to me. It takes you less than 2 seconds. Hit the like button. It just lets YouTube's algorithm know to push this out to more people. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed. Click the bell as well. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.